At first glance, number 13 looks really scary. We've got fractions within fractions, we got weird algebra, we got squares. It's just like a perfect storm of the kind of algebra that would make people nervous if, they weren't good at algebra. However, that's a sign. That tells us exactly what we should do. If the algebra is scary, our instinct should be, can we make it go away? Can we do arithmetic instead? And especially when we have a situation like this where the x is in the question and in the answers. That tells us that we can almost certainly arithmetize and pick a number for x and kind of see what happens. Now we do have a restriction. It says x is greater than 3, so we should probably follow that rule. I would love to pick 0 here, it would make things easy, but I'm going to follow the rule. So what happens? Well, now my initial equation becomes a little different. So that's 1 over 4 plus 2 plus 1 over 4 plus 3. So we just keep simplifying, right? So that's 1 over 1/6 plus 1/7. Now, it's a little annoying, but it's easier to figure out what to do because we have numbers. So kind of narrow your focus a little bit. We see that on the bottom here, we have addition of fractions. You need to know how to add fractions. So we can do that, right? We can say, okay, 1/6 plus 1/7. In order to do that, I need to have a common denominator. So the common denominator here would be 42. We would multiply the first by 7 over 7 and the second by 6 over 6. So that's going to be, if we go down here, that's going to be 740 seconds plus 640 seconds. And remember, it's underneath a 1. And so that's going to get me 1 over 13 over 42. So yeah, it's a little weird because we still have this other fraction going on, but just focus on one thing at a time. We can do that addition and kind of simplify that part. And now, okay, we still have a fraction within a fraction, but hopefully you learned how to deal with that. There's some shortcuts you could probably do, but the easiest way to think about it is division of fractions. And so when we do that, it's easiest to have 2 fractions, right? So I'm going to change this 1 on the top into a 1 over 1, just for balance. And then I learned that you use keep, change, flip. So we keep the top equation as is, so that's 1 over 1. We change the division into multiplication, and then we flip the bottom fraction upside down. So that's going to be 42 on the top now times 13. And so we're just multiplying it by 1, so this doesn't really do anything, but 42 over 13 is my answer. And now if I look at my answer choices, that's obviously not there because we changed something, right? We made the x go away, and so we got to make it go away in the answer choices as well. So we got to be consistent. Now, 42 over 13 is a scary looking number, but it's not scary when we look at the answer choices because, first of all, we would see right away that C and D are going to be wrong because they're not going to produce a fraction, right? If we put x as 4 here, then we're going to get 2 times 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13, and 4 squared is 16, plus 20, plus 6, well, that's conveniently 42. And now it makes sense with the other 2 pieces here that those numbers are going to kind of fit in, right? So this one is going to become 13 over 42, which is close, but not the same. And then B is 42 over 13. And there's our answer choice, B. So this is still difficult. It's a hard question through and through. But it's easier, I think, when we have numbers to work with. The challenge with variables is that we still have to work with numbers too, right? I mean, anytime we have algebra, we're working with multiple kinds of things at once. We're working with letters that have their own rules and numbers which have their own sets of rules. And so it's a lot to keep track of. The beauty of arithmetizing is it means that all those letters become numbers. And so now we're only working with one set of rules. And hopefully that lets us see some things that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. It helps us prevent mistakes that we might have made otherwise. So arithmetizing is really just about making hard problems a little bit simpler so we can increase our odds of getting them right. And it starts off just by looking at a question and being confused. If you look at it and the algebra looks confusing, that's your brain telling you, what if I picked a number? Pick it, try it, I think you'll get more right in the long run.